Welcome to the Don't Call Me Midlife podcast. In this episode, we are talking to sisters Amy and Anita and their new business called Your Last Love Letter. And this is a reality that we are facing more and more in midlife with losing loved ones, whether it is a parent, a spouse, a friend. And they have put together a guide to help preserve memories and honor legacies of our loved ones. This is a beautiful, heartfelt episode where we talk to them about their story and how this came about.
It's not something that we want to say we're excited about talking about, but I think it is something that I appreciate that they are bringing this up. So I think there's a lot of tips and a lot of beautiful things that we can do with our loved ones. So I would definitely think this is worth a listen.
Hey, Alix, how are you?
I'm good. Hey, Anita and Amy, how are you?
Hi, Alix and Nicole. We're good.
Yeah, we are so excited. Well, we're excited for every Modern Mom date, but especially excited for this one. We're not going to tell you yet what we're talking about because we're going to talk about what's in our cup first. So, Nicole, what is in your cup?
I have some water. So I've been trying to get my steps in every morning with my dog and working out. So I'm just hydrating. And so I got my, I don't know, big ass Stanley.
We have matching Stanleys.
Colorado, yeah.
We have the same color. That's so
What's
funny.
in your Stanley? What's in your cup?
Mine is water with LMNT. I'm very boring today. I'm trying to cut back on coffee, but drink more electrolytes. And it's getting warmer in Boston, so I feel like I just want that more. So yeah,
amazing. Anita, what's in your cup?
Mine is my favorite that I drink almost every day. It is diet ginger beer with a splash of cherry cherry juice.
Yeah,
it's
that sounds really good. Yeah,
it actually is, and it's Geyserling is the best ginger beer.
Yes,
so
totally. Yeah,
that's what we have to have.
That's like a Shirley Temple. It's like a I love that.
My husband
with a zing.
The Carolina girl. That's what we call it here in the Schweer house, but.
I love that.
Okay.
I love that. Amy, what's in your cup?
Well, mine's not as fun as Anita's, but my cup actually
I love it.
is one of the things about midlife that I'm learning is that I just don't care sometimes. And my son made this for me for Christmas a couple of years ago.
Oh, God, that's amazing.
I have leftover Starbucks in here, y'all. From yesterday. Did y'all do that? Do you drink like half of your coffee?
Yes.
Okay.
I put it in my fridge.
Flask. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
I do have
coffee and
too.
water.
I never not finish my coffee.
I do.
Really?
If I get like a latte, like a fun drink, I'll drink all the black coffee. But if I get like a fun drink, I just find I don't drink it because I'll usually get it in the afternoon and then I'll put it in the fridge.
I do that
every time.
That's funny.
And you reheat your coffee about 1 million times in the morning.
That is a true statement.
Yeah. Do you think that's a midlife thing or is that just a woman thing?
I think that is probably just a woman thing because I've been doing that for years. Years and years, long before midlife.
Yes. Well, speaking of midlife, Amy, let's get your take on midlife. How do you feel about midlife?
That was a great question. And I had to ponder it for a moment. And then I remembered before, so I'm 52. And when I was 49, I kind of was having one of those moments where I was like looking at my whole entire life. And you kind of go, what have I done? And what do I want to do? Am I doing good with the kids? And oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been married this long. And anyway, and so one of the things that I was just reminded of, because I am a woman of faith, and one of the things that I felt like God told me was, you are not done yet. Because I think I was like, oh my gosh, my kids are gone. And even though I have a 14-year-old daughter who still has 4 more years at home, I just was like, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do now. And that was one of the things that he just graciously said was, well, you're not done yet. And so I think that that's kind of defining for midlife for me, is that I'm not done yet. And I don't have to be perfect in what I am doing, but I am trying to remember to be adventurous and risky. And the other thing is, don't play small. I think I've probably played small sometimes in my life. And I don't want to keep doing that as I get older and wiser.
I love that. And that's a great thing for your daughter to see. Don't play small. Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Anita?
Oh my gosh. That.
I don't know if we can follow that.
Yeah.
I really am like, okay,
What she said.
Ditto.
Yeah. Well, I am 49 now, so I'm kind of in that. You kind of do hit that where you're like, oh wow, 50 is kind of crazy that I'm going to be 50. But I think in midlife, what I've learned now is a little bit going back to what Amy's cup is. Like, I've gotten to the point in my life where I really don't care what people think. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I feel like in your 20s and 30s, you can really sit in that and kind of keep up with the Joneses kind of lifestyle. And I just feel like when you get a little bit older, you're like, okay, like, this doesn't make sense. Like, why do I care? Why do I care?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's very freeing. Now, there's still sometimes, I'm not going to say it never happens, but there's definitely sometimes where I still have to check myself. But for the most part, I feel like I'm very grateful for everything that God's given me and opportunities He's given me, and being able to just experience life in the stage I'm at now, you know?
Yeah.
Alix and I love to be intentional. That's our midlife.
That's my work
intention. Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah. We love it. Yeah.
That's like our favorite word with everything that we do.
Yeah.
Well, these two wonderful ladies are sisters, and they are co-founders of Your Last Love Letter. And I can't wait to hear about their story. I think you are talking about something with this generation of seeing our parents get older and bringing it to light, because this was one of the things I think in my midlife that I didn't anticipate, right? Nicole and I talk about, we're dealing with like teenagers in puberty, and I'm dealing with my mom and taking her to the doctor, or, you know, I mean, a lot of our dads are also very healthy, but just this change of when your parents get that, you know, that moment when you notice that they're like a little bit older. And it's like, wait, what? Did you just repeat yourself? Like, what, Mom? You know, and I think cherishing those moments, I think, is something that you're going to talk about. And then also sort of the process of grief and, you know, when unfortunately you do have to, when people pass away. And I think Nicole and I both have personal experience. I know all four of us do. So can you tell us a little bit about your story and sort of how you started your company?
Do you want to do that, Amy, or do you want?
Yes. I will. I'll start, and then I'll pass it to you. So our mom, in 2023, February the 12th, 2023, at 11:16 a.m. on a Sunday, unexpectedly passed away. She had been sick for 6 or 7 years. 6 years.
Probably 6 years. She
leading up to that.
2016, yeah.
And we noticed it. I think we both noticed it, Anita, at Christmas that year when she was sweeping the kitchen, and we looked at her, and she was, if you can see, she was hunched. And at that point, she was in like her earlier 60s, like closer. And we were like, "What are you doing? Why are you holding your shoulders like that, Mom?" Because our mother is very proper, like to the point of we had what's that? I can't even remember. Emily Post. Yes. Oh my gosh. So we had Emily Post, like she was incredibly just very proper. And so for her to be hunching with a crowd around was just not typical. And little did we know that that was the beginning of a lot of just really never figuring out exactly what she had. The diagnosis was myopathy, which is a degenerative muscle disease. However, if you think about it, you have muscles all through your body. So our heart is a muscle, our throat is a muscle. I mean, obviously we have muscles that help us to move our appendages and things, but over time, when your muscles are degenerating, then that affects everything. So the last couple of years, she had heart issues and had a really, really hard time swallowing, and was really slow, still really sassy. She never lost that at all, nor lost her properness. But so she went in the hospital on February the 11th. And honestly, we all thought it was just a hiccup, like it was just a bump in the road. And she would be coming home probably within 24 or 48 hours. And we like to say that we all believe now, looking back, that our mom 100% knew that it was time for her to go to her eternal home. We just didn't know that until she passed away on February the 12th at 11:16. And so when we went to their house that afternoon after Mom had passed away, Anita, I'll let you pick it up from there.
So we were all obviously shocked and just kind of grief stricken. And there is like a real fog that happens when grief hits, in, I think, anyway, but definitely in our experience with the unexpectedness of it. And so we were all just, the whole family came back to the house, and I told Amy, and we started kind of talking, and we were, because of course, like, you go to the funeral home the next morning. Like, we'd already found out we had to be at the funeral home at 10 a.m. And I told Amy, I said, there's a funeral file. Like, she told us about a funeral file that she did. And so we went to the file cabinet, which is a good place to put a file. And there it was. It was her funeral file. And we opened it up, and it had everything in it that we needed to know for her all her wishes that she wanted for herself, as far as, like, she even put the, let me say, least expensive, prettiest metal casket. And just the songs that she wanted, the people that she wanted to be a part of. She had she was a nurse, so she had a cutout of is it the Nurses Honor Guard, Amy? They kind of do like a final call. It's a organization that does the final call for nurses, and it's a beautiful thing. They come to the funeral and do it all volunteer. She had a program because she had told us in the past that she wanted her grandkids to write something about her in her program. And so she had saved the program where she had seen that done. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful gift in a really incredibly difficult moment. So when we went to the funeral home, we took that file and literally were able to make decisions. Like, we literally told the funeral director, we were like, because you go in this room and there's all these caskets. And, you know, because we love her so much, we would have, I mean, Amy and I would have picked out, because Daddy was like, you guys just do whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't know what to do. And that makes total sense. But so, I mean, we would have picked out the most expensive casket because we wanted to honor her and we love her. But we were like, where's your prettiest, least expensive metal casket? And he like points over to the corner where we probably would have never looked. And that's what we got. And so after we went through that, and then we went through probate, and that file helped us walk through things with probate. And it was just the most amazing gift that she gave us. And that's who she was. She was very organized and very thoughtful. And it was her last love letter to us. She was very intentional. And so out of that gift, Amy and I were like, nobody really knows how incredibly beneficial this type of information is until you walk through it. And we were like, we need to give this to other people. Like, we need to come up with something that is similar to Mama's little funeral file. And that's how we started Your Last Love Letter, out of the legacy that Mama left us, to help other people be able to, have a bit of peace and order in a really hard time and leave a legacy for their own family and loved ones.
That is a beautiful gift and send off. And maybe she didn't realize how beautiful it actually is. Maybe she just thought she was being organized, because my mother-in-law, we lost her a couple of years ago, and she was very detail oriented, and she had a lot of things organized already, but excuse me. But even going to the funeral home, so there are 5 in my husband's family, and for 5 people to agree on one casket, it was a little, there was no fighting, but it was, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And then, so it was just, some things were more ongoing than they needed to be, but I think
it takes that out of, we literally were like, well, this is what she wrote. This is what she said. Like, this is exactly the music, everything. We were able as a family to actually do her service, which was a beautiful thing for all of us to be a part of. It was a precious gift.
And that time right after someone's passing is so precious, because you just want to connect with your loved ones and revisit stories and memories and look through photo albums. And the last thing anyone wants to do is pick out a casket or what flower arrangement or what song. So it is such a beautiful idea that came out of such a great loss. And I think what you two are doing is just amazing. And I think everybody needs to know about it, midlife or not, whether it's our parents or a friend that is sick or a spouse, everybody should just have it available, to.
It really is it's one of those things that you don't want to think about, but then you're like, because what you said earlier, Alix, we're kind of in that, we have kids and then we have parents, and we're kind of in the middle. And it's just something that all of us really need. It's not even our own children. We're like, this is something you need to do, because you don't know. I mean, we never know when, our time is up, and it's just a precious gift.
Well, there's no how-to. So you're making the how-to, and it sounds so practical. But actually, at that time, to have something like you had so practical. I mean, I know Nicole and I have both had a loss. My dad died suddenly, so I did not have a file. But there are things that you need to do when someone passes that you don't even know, right? And I think just having something so that you can. Everyone grieves differently, is what I've found too. And I know with my siblings and I, it was my mom. Some people were like, I'm out. Some people were jumping in, trying to do everything because that made them feel better. Some people are going through pictures, and to have those roles of people in the family that everyone does care and love this person, and eliminate the stress of that, what flowers would make this person happy, or what song, and so did your mom know that she was going to pass away? I know you mentioned that at the beginning, but so did you guys know that she was going to pass away, or how did that happen?
No, we had no clue.
But she knew.
Had no idea. Well,
maybe she was just a planner.
Okay.
She had been.
It'd been funny because our mom and dad, they'd been married. It'll be 56 years in June, so it was 54 years before. And she had been telling Daddy, like, you need to start learning how to do your own laundry and learning how to cook. And she'd even, y'all, this, and it it bit Amy and I to the core because she like removed herself from our family text group, and we just thought she was being cranky. Like,
Wow.
But I feel like in hindsight, we can see very real things that she did that I really feel like she was like, okay, I know my time is coming near.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She had
I have heard that. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say she had stopped doing her laundry. She hadn't done her own laundry for, I don't know how long, but it was
several
days. She hadn't done her laundry for a while. Yeah. She knew something was coming.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those weird, like, and maybe Guy was just like, all right, Jane, this is like, you're going to be healed. Because she was so ready to go home. She was, I mean, you think about it, when you can't swallow, you can't eat. Like, she was not enjoying eating. She was not enjoying the things that brought her, joy. Like, she still loved her family, but everything was so hard for her. But she had just, and we think she probably was a lot sicker than she let us know until that Saturday when my dad called and was like, hey, my husband's a nurse. And so he was like, I feel like you guys should come down. And then Amy and us came down and realized, she needs to go to the hospital. But in hindsight, like Amy's oldest son had a grandson the next month, and she wrote him a letter and letting Gabe and Ellie know how much she loved them. And it was just from her. It wasn't from our dad and our mom. It was just her.
Wow.
I truly believe people have more, I don't know if the word is power, but control near the end. And then we realize I have a lot of family in healthcare, and they just, there's this pattern to it. I mean, obviously not everyone, but I think when you're sick, I think, and that moment where you let go, because my mother-in-law, she was at home in hospice, and she was surrounded. There were probably 25 family members there. And the minute she was alone is when she let go. Like, everybody was by her side, like nobody, but it was like just a moment in time where somebody had to answer the door and somebody stepped away to grab something, and she just let go. And I think, that was intentional on her part. Just knowing her personality and things like that. And then I've heard a lot of stories where people in the hospital, it's almost like they choose. So, yeah.
She was
surrounded. It was I wouldn't change the way that everyone was there, because we were all able, even Anita's son, who had moved there, they were visiting where they were going to be going in Connecticut. And so he wasn't physically in the room with Mom, but we were able to call him. He got to talk to her, and we've talked about that. Even Anita and I have talked about how we feel like that she felt the peace, like you said, to be able to let go. And to know that we were all going to be okay. We were going to miss her, obviously, but we were going to be okay. And we were going to take care of our dad.
Right.
Which since then we have been like, oh, Mom, we should have listened. We're so sorry, because yes, he's quite an interesting guy at times. That's a whole nother can. It's not a can of worms.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole other episode.
That's
cow.
Yeah, you learn things about the other person. When I'm very close with my mom, but there were certain things because they've always been with that person. So they like grow and change in a different way, or you realize things about them that it's like, you can't describe it unless you've been through it. It's like, it still boggles my mind. I'm like, I didn't know that about you, Mom, or I didn't know, it's like, it's really, I think there's benefits and challenges to it. I'll just say.
Yes. Sure. That's a good way to say it.
That's another like kind of arm that we've made with your last love letter is caring for aging parents, because we've learned so much in the last 14 months, because we want to do everything we can to honor and respect Daddy. But at the same time, he does have Parkinson's. And so we're learning along with him. And every day is something new. So it's just, it's a part of something that we're sharing as well, because it's, people are going to go through it, whether now or later.
Yeah. So with your last love letter, do you work with people one-on-one? Are you offering consultations? Is it like a guide right now?
But right now it's a guide that you can purchase, like a digital download. So you can purchase it and print it off, or you can, do it digitally if you want to just fill in the blank with like pulling it into notes or something with Apple. But we're talking, and it's one of the things that we've been asked again, and I should let you talk about this, Amy, because I feel like I'm commandeering the conversation. Amy, the question we normally get asked.
Yes. So the question that we've been asked is it a will? And the answer is no, it is not a will. We are not attorneys. We are not legal. We don't know anything about law. It is just what we have decided is that a great way to say it is that it is an accompaniment to a will, or it is in addition to a will. It does not replace a will, nor is it a will. It has, I think there's some of the same questions that maybe a couple that you may find as far as listing properties and things like that. But it can also stand alone. Yeah.
Right.
So definitely not a will.
It's not legally binding. It's just somebody's wishes. Like I wish to have, mums. I can't even think of a flower off the top of my head. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Nicole wants mums. Jerry.
Write that down. We're gonna give you guys one. So there'll be a place for you to put that.
Yeah.
So they're guiding questions for what they would like after they die, is what you're saying. So what I also love what you guys do, and I got your freebie from your website, it's not only planning for your funeral, per se, but I love that you are embracing your loved ones, and encouraging people to talk to them. So they have a freebie that's 5 questions to ask. And one of them is, what are your childhood memories? Can you share a family favorite story from the past? And I do something similarly to this on my Instagram. I call it table talk, because I'm all about family dinners and really encouraging people at the table. So I was like, I'm going to use some of these questions.
I love that.
And it's storytelling, your loved one's story, right? And you can do it now. It doesn't mean people have to be sick, right? It's just thinking about that. I know there's lots of apps out there. There's you can record a book, or, whatever you can do to get to write it down, to record and to learn about your family member even more, because these aren't everyday conversations about their past that you necessarily know, right?
Yes.
So how did you come up with these? Did your mom leave you an actual note, or was this like an accompaniment that you came up with?
I think this came out of we didn't have Mama here anymore.
Yeah.
And those were questions that we were like, do you remember such and such? Or did you think about do you know this or something? And we were like, this is something that is important that people, again, until you have a loss, you don't think about, I should ask my parents how they found out or how they figured out my name, or, things like that, that are beautiful stories, but it's just taking the time to do it as well.
Yeah.
Right. And it could be fun with grandkids. When I printed this out, I was talking to my 11-year-old and saying, we should do this with my mom. And I just think you just learn more. I know my family was big into family trees. A lot of people don't do that anymore. But it's like your legacy, right? It's
Mhm.
like what you
Right.
want to be remembered for. And now we're in a day and age where we can take videos or do the voice notes or,
Yeah.
When my dad passed away 11 years ago, videos wasn't a real big thing then. We had a camcorder, I think, and I don't have a lot of videos of my dad. And that makes me really, really sad because my kids were young when he passed away. So I think asking the questions and doing that, I also think our parents would really like it, right? Like they like to, talk about themselves. I think that'd be
It jogs their memory because we did that just recently. We did it with our dad because he had cataract surgery, and so we just started reading the questions that we had, and he was like, "Oh, and all excited, and we learned things that we had never heard before, and then some incredibly precious stuff that we're like, oh my gosh, that's just so sweet. So
Yeah,
like
I love that.
Having it on video is so much better than just pictures or even writing it down, because it's really something that I think they're more apt to do because of the interactiveness of it, because we have tried a couple of other things where we would send them questions weekly and stuff like that. And one of the things that our dad had a difficult time with was just using the keyboard, because he has Parkinson's. And so he just got to the point where he wasn't able to use a keyboard the way that he used to. He also wasn't able to read as well. And so although we were sending things trying to find that out, when Anita actually was able to sit down with him and just ask him those questions, it was so much better to me than
I agree.
than a book, not diminishing the beautifulness of the work that other companies are doing to gather those memories too. But I don't know. It's like you said, there's just something about video.
Yeah. Right. To do it in a way that works for your family, right? Maybe you're not close vicinity, or, I have this one book of my dad's voice that it's what you made it for the little grandkids, those type of things. And I'm like, no one's allowed to touch it. Or it's like, I have it in a very special spot in my house.
Yeah.
But I think this work you're doing is incredible. And this isn't something that we want to talk about,
Right.
And this isn't also something, unfortunately I have friends with cancer and friends, there are other people besides aging parents that this could be a really good tool for, unfortunately, but a way to honor that person the way that they want to be honored, I think is really, really special and would have been, I know, helpful so much for me when my dad passed away, because you're just clueless and you're just in a fog. So thank you for doing this hard work, for being vulnerable with your story of your mom. I mean, 12 months, that's not a long time ago that she passed away. So, or 14 months, I'm sorry. But you are definitely making an impact. So Nicole and I love the work that you do. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. And where can people find you?
We're glad to be here.
Yeah.
It's easy to find us. Everything is Your Last Love Letter. So that's where we are on Instagram and Facebook. And then also our website is just yourlastloveletter.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's easy.
Yeah, that is easy. Okay. Well, we will put all that in the show notes and then a link to your guide. So if anyone's listening, you can just go to the show notes and download it right away.
You.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. This is the part where we give our unsolicited advice. It can be related to this topic, or it could be anything midlife, woman life, whatever you want.
Just unsolicited advice, because no one asks for it.
Because we're older and we can just give our advice, right?
That's right. Because older and we can.
Yes.
Well, I will share another little nugget that I learned in 2017. So I don't even know how many years ago that was. 7. But it is this. I am a small business owner. I actually own a boutique marketing company here in the area. And I went through a program, and it was like a local entrepreneurship program. And what I learned from that program was this, that failure is inevitable, but it is not defining, and we get to choose.
I love
So
it.
it's going to happen, but we get to decide how we let it affect us.
Good.
Amy, you've
Tell
got
my
all
kids
the good
that, yeah.
nuggets.
She's
Yeah,
a lot.
It's because you're the oldest.
The oldest.
The oldest and the wisest.
I don't know about that, but I'll take the oldest for sure. I don't care.
It's gonna be my new tagline too.
Often we learn more at this age from like our failures than our successes, right? Like when we're
Absolutely.
challenged, when we get outside of our box, because when I was younger, I didn't go outside my box that much. Now I am more willing to it, right? Because it's more of that risk of either way, right? But you're going to learn from both things that you do. I try to talk to my kids about that, but they're too young.
Yeah.
It's so true, though.
They'll get
That
it.
is
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah. All right, is it my turn?
All right. It's your turn. Yeah.
I've had two things pop up. So the first one I will say relates to your last love letter. One of the things that I did right away, and I would say, Alex, you didn't have this love 11 years ago, but anytime so my parents leave voicemails, and I would be like, oh, I have all these voicemails and I just, for some reason, didn't delete them. And when Mama passed away, I sent all those voicemails to a note that I have Mama. And then I also sent them to my Google Drive just so that I always have her voice available. And I had just had a procedure, like a surgical procedure, just a few days before she passed away. And she had sent me a voicemail and I just didn't answer it. And I just think that was God giving me this voicemail. But it's like, I just wanted to call and check on you. I love you so much. Have a great night. Sleep.
Aww.
And so there are many nights where I would just be like, play, and it's Mama, and it's precious. And so I would definitely encourage people to save those voicemails, even the ones that might be like, Amy has one that Mom and Daddy are arguing.
It's so funny.
It's
so
beautiful
funny.
now. So save your voicemails because you miss. I never want to forget my mama's voice. I never want to forget my dad's voice. And we still have Daddy, obviously, but I still save his too because it's their treasures. So
those are special. I have voicemails of my kids when they were really little too. Now you're reminding me to, and my grandmother too, when she would call me on the phone and when she had a cell phone. So you're reminding me to sort of say, I didn't know you could download those.
Yeah, you can download them. Okay, I love tech too. Prior to this, I had like my own tech Instagram thing, but I'll show you how you can do it, Alex.
Okay,
it's a super simple way.
Yes, because I love that. I actually never answer my phone a lot, so I have a lot of voicemails.
A lot of voicemails.
I'll save one from Nicole.
There you go.
You can practice on my voice.
I'll practice. I'll tell my mom to leave a message, actually. So, I love that. Nicole, do you have any advice?
I really don't. I've been trying to think of something amazing to say, but maybe I'll give some advice to myself. And if it resonates with you out there, I have actually bought those little books myself. They're like little itty bitty books. And it's 10 pages, Mom, what's your favorite color? So I have bought those for myself to fill out for my kids. And I just need to sit down and fill them out in addition to your last love letter. But it's just something on my to-do list. I'm like, oh, I need to do it. So I guess if you have something, start. Just start.
Just use it. Just use it. I would like that.
Yeah. We were at Mom and Daddy with Daddy's surgery, Nicole, and we found our grandmothers from 1996. One of those that she had filled out for us. We didn't even know existed.
Oh, so sweet.
It was incredible. So definitely fill those out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Alex.
Mine would just be, I think, just have those table talks. Have those. I love these questions that you ask. I think use just the opportunity to ask a question, because I think we're always in the hustle and bustle of, you know, even like you're saying, Nicole, I love the idea of just us answering them with our kids, right? Using that time that you can have together, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour, and just appreciating that time together, because you just really never know when you're not going to have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Both. It was fun.
All right.
We
Bye.
appreciate it. Bye-bye.